You were going to be James Bond. I know that about you.
I thought I had the job. I came home and Roger Moore said, okay, I'll do one more.
Club Random.
No motivation to kill JFK Jr.
No, he was going to be president. He was going to be president.
Club Random.
Right on time, as I knew you would be.
Oh, hey!
Oh, wait. What do you got, a man purse there? What is that?
Oh, it's cowboy.
When you're as macho a man as you are, you can get away with having a purse. That's all I'm going to say to you. You can get away with having a purse.
First of all, I'm going to stand because you're arriving. Hey, man. Thank you for inviting me.
Please. Are you kidding?
This is a cool thing for an old guy.
This should be, you look fantastic. I emailed this on your birthday. You're still the Marlboro Man. You are.
Well, I stole $10 from my mother when I was about 7, 8 years old.
I heard that about you.
Really? Anyway, I went down to the corner. There was we lived near the 405 and Sunset, and there was one gas station around there. I went down there and I asked them to change the 10 into quarters. So I got 40 quarters. I bought 40 packs of cigarettes.
Oh, my God.
And opened them all. And so there was, what's that, 800 cigarettes in one of those big silver salad bowls for the kitchen.
How much was a pack of cigarettes?
Quarter.
Come on.
No.
A pack?
Yeah, Coke was a nickel. I'm up there, You may have not invited me if you'd have known.
Oh no,
all this stuff.
I see you all the time. I know. I know exactly who you are. You just don't read that age, so it's surprising because you were genetically blessed. I often wonder what it must be like to go through life tall and handsome like you. I mean, it must have been a bane and a boon. It must have been a boon bane.
My mother early on started saying, little things like, oh, you're so cute, that I avoided my mother, sweetest woman in history, but I would avoid her because I had an aversion to that. Now you're doing it.
Well,
But
every mother says,
where's my car?
What? Yeah. But every mother says that about a kid.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
Yours,
it affected me.
It just happened to be the case.
Oh, well.
And, I mean.
Just gets a little old.
You must have had to.
And so consequently, I wanted to be the Marlboro Man, and that was nice of you to say that,
I mean, you must have had to beat him off with a stick. If there was a place that sold.
I was too shy.
That sold sticks to beat people off with.
Not only could I not give a book report in high school without shaking and sitting down, so that I had to fight. But I was really shy with girls. So, I went steady with a bunch of girls for, always a minimum of a year. And even when I got married, I tried to get out of it, but that's not easy.
The marriage? You're talking
First marriage, yeah. I went to my parents after 2 weeks and said, how do you get out of these things? And 16 years later, I left. But in the meantime, I was going, I'm not leaving these kids with this situation.
It is a weird thing, I find, and of course, coming from someone who's never been married.
Yeah,
it just is a weird thing to me that maybe I guess this is why I never got married. That people just voluntarily enter into something so ironclad. And especially with the thing that more than anything else in life is likely to change. I mean, we use the phrase, I'm not married to it, for everything,
Right.
That table, I like it. I'm not married to it.
Yeah.
Except a human who is as likely or not going to change or, things just change between people. It just seems an odd thing to me to lock yourself in, to break into prison.
I sent you something about mercury last night.
I know, I saw.
Okay,
is that a book I have to read?
Well, no, you don't have to. I'll just tell you a little bit about it. But you were talking to Jimmy Kimmel a year ago, and you guys really got on this mercury thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in the conversation on this show.
I don't remember that, but I take your word for it.
Okay, so I go, this was meaningful to both of you guys to carry on for 10 minutes about mercury, and
Well,
you're adamant about poisoning of mercury. You're adamant about cruelty to animals. I know, a couple of things about you.
And I love Jimmy, but I don't know how Jimmy fits in my mercury worldview, but mercury itself is something I'm always acutely aware of.
But you got into marriage too, so here we are with
right.
both of these subjects again a year
But-
later. But go ahead. Sorry.
How is marriage like mercury?
Huh?
How is marriage like mercury?
No, you just got, that was one solid conversation of you saying, here's why it shouldn't be working. And he said, well, he's kind of going, I'm not saying anything because my wife probably see this show. So I'm
Right. I see.
And then but you did talk about marriage for 10 minutes and the virtues and the tougher side of it. And then mercury, which I had 21 fillings before I was 21, all mercury. And I went to Hal Huggins, the guy that wrote this book.
Oh,
who
drilled out?
Huh?
Drilled out?
Had them all drilled out in 2 days.
Me too. I had my mercury. You have to.
And he was the father of getting rid of mercury. He was a dentist.
Okay.
That, as a matter of fact, for some reason, the Swedish all came over here and started having symposiums with him, and then it was against the law to have mercury put in your teeth in Sweden right afterwards, and he was kicked out of the dental association.
And, not to bring everything...
Which is how politics works.
Yes. And apparently medicine, which is politics, a lot of it.
Yeah.
And we love our doctors, and we love that we have available to us a lot of things that people in past generations didn't, and we keep getting better. But not to get me on my high horse about Western medicine and COVID and all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
But
I like that, too.
I know you do, because I think we're similar on the same page. Yeah. I look at the bigger, broader picture, which is when they tell me to do something medically, including whatever the prescriptions were for COVID, can we just first pause and remember how wrong you have been over the years, including in the present? Mm-hmm. It's not like people will look back in 50 years and go, boy, in 2023, they had it all figured out medically. They were just dotting the I's and crossing the T's.
Right.
No, you drilled mercury into my mouth, something we don't want even in trace amounts in fish and stuff. And you thought it was okay in my lifetime to do the... So just don't sit there with the white coat like, look, see the stethoscope around my neck? Obviously, I have all the answers, and you don't. Don't question anything.
In this book, he stated that the average dentist who has been installing mercury, which is the biggest money-making per second, per minute of work thing he can do, at least it was then, the average dentist that did that regularly was beside himself work-wise. By the time he was 56, he had to retire for the shakes, for however else that...
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
it's interesting. That got me thinking about a lot of things about medicine, because like doctors, they have to give you an answer. Cops have to give you an answer. Who else?
Cops do not have to give you an answer, and they often don't. You have to give them an answer.
I'm just saying.
And it better be the right answer.
Yeah.
And it better end in sir.
Yeah.
But yes, doctors, they take suggestions from patients in a way they never used to. We are only one of 2 countries in the world, the other is New Zealand, that allows direct-to-consumer advertising of prescription drugs. You should never really be saying to your doctor, can I have this? I saw the commercial, and there's a lady in a wheat field, and she looks like she's fucking high as a kite, and I didn't even know what she's on, I don't know what the drug does, but I know I want it. That does not exist almost anywhere else in the world, and it probably shouldn't exist here. You shouldn't be telling your doctor what you need.
20 or 25 years ago, we found under my dad's counters 3,000 pills from 3 different doctors because he had some early on back surgery, and pretty soon he was just, that's all he did. He was a pillhead, but
because of back?
And because doctors, all they had to do is call him and say, give me a prescription,
Yeah, my
I don't know
father.
how that is today.
My father had a bad back, which looking back and having read the book by the great John Sarno, who wrote a groundbreaking book called Healing Back Pain, where he was a major back surgeon, did all the sports teams in New York, I think, and he stopped doing it because he said most back pain is, I don't want to say it's psychosomatic because the pain is real,
Right.
but his theory is the unconscious mind can, by cutting off oxygen to anywhere in the body, can cause you to be thinking all about that part of the body, because you really should be thinking about your relationship with your mother or your kids or whatever it is that you're avoiding. And I feel like my father was this guy, and I've known other people who are this person who are, they're obsessed with their back. Everything has to be about the back, and the back is always going out, and the back and it's just the unconscious mind is cutting off oxygen, so it really hurts, but there's no real physiological damage there. Now, of course, back pain can be real and physical too.
Your old man was a host, right? And a writer and
No,
newsman.
He was a newsman.
Newsman.
He was a radio newsman in the days when all radios...
But he gave you an example that you could just go do it, right? Or was it hard for you? No, to just go and be in front of people and...
No, he was not really in front of people.
Oh, okay.
Yes, being on...
Misunderstood that.
Well, he did radio news. I mean, you're in a studio,
in front of a camera? In front of a microphone?
Radio, in front of a microphone, yeah.
Okay, well, that's...
Yeah, no, it's pressure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he would come home and need...
me.
Oh, yeah, no. He would come home and need 3 martinis to start, because it was that... And this is the days when radio news was live.
That's good.
What is... We got you right... We got you the right drinks.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
No, he would come.
Black coffee, so that I'm a motor mouth. Otherwise, you know me. I sit around and never say anything at a party.
I don't know that about you. I don't know who this guy you're talking about all the time.
It used to be anyway. Maybe because life is going on. I got a lot to say yet.
Yeah, I've never known you to be quiet about anything.
I'll tell you. You invited me up to the Arlington Theater in Santa Barbara.
Oh, I remember that night. And then we had dinner.
And I sat in the audience and saw you for an hour and a half. You went over to your music stand twice. This crappy music stand like I used to have in high school.
Yeah.
And turned the page. You kind of glanced at it and went on for another half. And I went, God, would I have loved to be able to do that kind of stuff.
Most comics do it without a music stand without their bullet points on it.
Yeah, but they do the same shit over and over again, right?
And the one thing I can't stand in comedy, the phrase that really is nails on a chalkboard to me is, what else? What else? Like a comic should never say what else. Like I know what else because I wrote it down and put it on the music stand.
Yeah, but
so I can keep going. Give them their money's worth.
But if you're throwing an idea, you can keep going, right?
Yeah, of course. And that's the other thing.
That's amazing.
It allows you to riff because you always know you can come back safely to land where there's stuff that we know works. Because
when I grew up, as an actor, when I first started as an actor, the script girl would stop and say, "You forgot the and the but in that third sentence," and and it was such pressure because I never had a good memory for dialogue anyway, with the thousands of pages I've done. So when I'm directing, I tell an actor, "Well, just tell me let me understand the same idea, just say it in your own words."
Yeah, I mean, that's...
Everybody goes, "You can't do that."
Woody Allen does it. I think that's a lot.
Josh says Woody Allen will come over and correct you, though.
Yeah, there are some things, if it's a word that's going to fuck the joke up.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But I think a lot of directors in later years have worked that way. Definitely Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah,
Larry David.
And
I don't think there's even something written.
That was more of an old-timey thing. They were stuck in a rut.
Oh, and there are certain ones today who want every word exactly. If I wrote a script and directed it, I'd want them to say those words, I think. I don't think I'd want them to put it in their own words.
The way I have 5 scripts that I've directed 3 films that, like even the first one, I would retype dialogue the night before. I had a
To
printer.
memorize it?
Huh?
To memorize it?
No, I was directing.
Oh, I see.
So me, I didn't care about.
Oh, you were rewriting that. You were rewriting.
Yeah, I'd slip it to the actor. Here's what we're saying today, and
Right.
they'd go, "Yeah, great. This is so much better."
Right.
And
Oh, yeah.
so probably why I haven't been rehired a couple, more, because I'll do that, and then if there's a line in there that works perfectly as is, just make sure you get that line. The rest, just tell me. Just tell me whatever you want to tell me. And it works. I just heard today that my lousy little, I think it was $2.6 million little Christmas movie, I'll Be Home for Christmas, with the little girl. I heard it sold to Netflix worldwide, and it's in the top 10 now.
Is that the one I saw where, no, I think that was in a Christmas. I saw one where it was like you were in like Yugoslavia or something.
Yeah, Romania.
Romania, and like somebody was like the king or the prince, and there was
a cowboy that inherited a kingdom and didn't want to be there.
Right.
Just wanted to punch cows.
Right. Right, you inherited a kingdom in Romania.
Royal Hearts. Yeah,
Royal Hearts.
It's kind of cute.
Yeah, it's kind of
cute. And when the script was given to me, it was really kind of corny, and so I threw in a lot of good old John Wayne sayings and all kinds of stuff. And I've got 5 scripts of other people write. I can't write anything originally, but I can fix a script that doesn't work. And I've got 5 right now. I'm just waiting for the money to show up.
Did you know John Wayne? Did you ever, you must have.
No, I ran into him once and went.
You never worked with him?
Huh? No, I never worked with him, no. And I'd see him every once in a while in Newport Beach. I'd spend the summers in Newport Beach, and he had a waterfront house and a great boat, and we'd see him every once in a while. But I was on the lot at Universal when I walked around a corner and just went, I swear I was looking straight up at the guy, I don't think he's taller than me, but he was just a giant to me, You
know that he had to be restrained from rushing the stage.
Yeah.
And this is before.
Oh, no, it's off the wall.
You know what I'm going to say? at the Oscars.
Yeah.
And this is before Will Smith, when rushing the stage was frowned upon.
Mm-hmm.
Because when Brando sent up the Indian, Sacheen Littlefeather, to accept his award, and she started to go on about how shitty the Indians had been treated, John Wayne had to be restrained from going up on the stage and punching her.
Well, and they found it. Didn't they find out years later she's a fake?
Absolutely.
She wasn't
Mexican.
Mexican, yeah.
Yeah. The woke think that...
I'm still trying to... I looked it up about 5 times. I still can't figure out what woke means.
Oh, God. We had this discussion in September of 2020. It's in the paper every evening.
I know. And I keep going, it's not a statement that, it's not a word that explains itself. It's a word. You have to think about, how did they mean that? And they said something, and...
Woke, it has an actual...
When I grew up, this stuff didn't exist.
No, it didn't.
I'm leaving just in time.
You're not going anywhere. But woke, it started out with a very admirable meaning, which was woke, as in let's be alert to injustice.
Yeah.
Okay. It morphed in the last 5 to 10 years into every ridiculous, too far left bullshit thing that will probably get President Hellboy elected again. What?
Oh, what a thought.
Well,
you should be.
It's highly possible.
You and Navalny are the 2 presidents that should be in office right now.
Navalny.
Yeah.
Right.
I have a T-shirt I made, President Navalny.
Yeah.
Elect 2024 or whatever.
Isn't he poisoned?
Huh?
He's poisoned.
What do you mean poisoned?
Putin poisoned him.
Yeah, they poisoned him, but he's in a cell in...
Poisoned. They poisoned him in prison.
But he's not dead.
He's not dead. But, it's like, because poison is slow.
They're turning the heat off, and he's living in, minus 30 degrees at night, and they're doing everything they can to.
No, it's
this... Who are the top 10 horrible people of all time? Putin is unbelievable.
Right. I mean, it's either poisoning you or pushing you out a window.
Oh my God. Or killing as many and kidnapping as many kids as they
do you know
can.
how many people have fallen out of windows in Russia?
Oh.
It's like amazing. I've seen articles about it. Like, it's like 20 people
Wow.
have mysteriously fallen out of windows. And, you know, Putin tries to play it off like, we must do something about the dangerous open window situation in Russia.
See the scene with one guy and big fat guys on each arm walking him to the window as he's struggling, dropping him over the, oh my God. And that's exactly what happened.
It's like, who was the comic who held people, Sid Caesar.
Yeah.
Would famously, he was a big, strong guy, and if he was unhappy with his writers, he would famously, I thought this was the story, like would literally dangle them out a window. So they think they've got gripes now with this strike.
My favorite skit of his is they had a bunch of fake rocks all over a stage with guys behind each rock with guns going, me, me, me. Everybody shooting at each other. It was all, it was all Dr. Phil style, You know how I feel about it.
I watched Showtime put together something called 10 from Your Show of Shows. I think this is like in the 80s. But of course, these were clips from the early 50s. One of the, Sid Caesar's Your Show of Shows is like one of the first television shows, right?
Yeah, that, Red Skelton.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I remember watching these things, and of course, again, this is the 80s. I'm a young whippersnapper, but I just thought they were horrible. And the audience is dying laughing.
Yeah.
And I just thought, boy, tastes change, especially in comedy. It just doesn't translate over the years. Let's face it, when it comes to wardrobe, most guys struggle to look good. How many times has a wife or girlfriend heard, honey, which sweats go with this hockey jersey? But now help is on the way with Rhone. Rhone's commuter collection is the most comfortable, breathable set of products known to man. And here's why. The commuter collection offers the world's most comfortable pants, dress shirts, quarter zips, and polos. You never have to worry about what to wear when you have the Rhone commuter collection. Rhone's comfortable stretch fabric is breathable and flexible, so it leaves you free to enjoy everything life throws at you. With Rhone's wrinkle release technology, wrinkles disappear as you stretch and wear the products. It's that easy. Rhone is 100% machine washable, so you can ditch the dry cleaner altogether. The clothes combine comfort and mobility, and I know, I got baked the other day and played an entire basketball game in my pants from Rhone. But seriously, they are perfect for every occasion, from work to happy hour to date night, and if you're doing date night on the off chance you score, they come right off. The commuter collection can get you through any workday and straight into whatever comes next. Head to rhone.com/random and use promo code RANDOM to save 20% off your entire order. That's 20% off your entire order when you head to rhone.com/random and use code RANDOM. It's time to find your corner office comfort. Now for one of my favorite topics. No, not the Beatles or weed. It's sex. Who wants better sex? And who wants to start having better sex immediately? The best way to get started is to go to adamandeve.com right now. Adam and Eve is offering 50% off just about any item, plus discreet free shipping, which includes rush processing. More than that, Adam and Eve wants to make your life easy. They offer discreet free shipping and rush processing on your entire order. Don't wait. Better sex is just a click away. That's 50% off one item, free shipping with rush processing. Bring more pleasure and satisfaction into your bedroom. Just go to adamandeve.com and select any one item. It could be anything new and adventurous. Just enter offer code RANDOM at checkout. That's random at adamandeve.com. This exclusive offer is specific to this podcast, so be sure to use this code RANDOM to get your discount. Free shipping and get it fast with rush processing. Code RANDOM. Hey, Club Random fans, people in the comments have been asking why we don't have merch. Yes, we read them. I don't, but we have a guy for that. But bottom line, we have merch now. Last week, I begged Joe Biden not to be Ruth Bader Biden, and so we are kicking off with a Don't Be Ruth Bader Biden t-shirt. And there's cool new Club Random merch on there, too. T-shirts and hoodies and barware. There's even a Club Random herb grinder and rolling papers. Check it all out at clubrandom.com.
I've seen so many great films. I said, if you just chop 20 minutes out of it and make it move a little faster in a couple of people talking scenes. They're not about anything. They don't move the story. They're just people talking. But Oppenheimer, I'm saying Oppenheimer needs an hour out of it.
Whenever I see something that's 3 hours, I'm like, these egomaniacs, they do not know how to kill their own children, which is the secret of art, is to be an editor. You have to be ruthless. You can't fall in love with every fucking frame you shot, every fucking joke you wrote. You just have to do it. And they don't. So often they don't. I think the last John Wick movie, John Wick, is like 2 hours and 45 minutes. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
It is. And it had some really good elements for that kind of film. You know, he's good.
So you see all these movies?
Am I sniffing a lot? Because I just had my sinuses, deviated septum. I got out of surgery.
Well,
God.
I'll tell you this, I haven't noticed it, but nobody thinks we're doing coke.
Oh, good. Good.
Because we'd both have a heart attack.
That's right. We're too old to do that.
Did you have a cocaine
too
period?
Expensive.
I had a brief cocaine.
No, drugs never. I'd smoke grass with everybody at a party. The last time I literally passed out. The last guy said, "This is this great Vietnam stuff."
Vietnam.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know anything about it, but I know there's all kinds of species now and everything. Anyway, we're at dinner and he says, "Come on out, Jim, come on." So I go, "Okay, it's been years." And I go in and I'm sitting there and I'm looking across the table at our guests and I'm going, I see their mouths moving, but I have no idea what anybody's saying. I better concentrate more. And it got worse and worse. I turned to my wife and I said, "Honey, I'm going to go upstairs and lie down." And for some reason, she didn't say what. She said, okay, darling. I stood up and literally somebody pulled the switch off. My legs, I dropped to the floor.
What drug was this you were on?
Pot.
Pot? Really? That's just from pot?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't...
So I'm a cheap date. I told you I was a cheap date.
If you're not used...
You got me the low-cost tequila and...
no, I mean, if people...
You got Starbucks drive-through.
You got it all. No, I know. No, I got your list. I told them, I said, you better fucking get this list right. Because this is the OG.
Hell to pay, right?
Well, you're a major motherfucker. I'm not going to fuck up the drink requests.
You don't mind if I do the Dreyfus thing, do
you? It's becoming a meme.
No, keep talking. Okay, all right.
Yes.
I've watched a couple of the shows. They told me that there's 71 of them out there plus, or...
I guess, something like that. We've been doing it for a while now.
And then I saw Peterson,
Jordan
Professor
Peterson,
Yes, all dressed up, and I thought, Jesus, I better go shower and get a couple of suits out and figure out which one I'm going to wear.
Not me.
And then I ended up with a T-shirt like you. Last time I saw you had a white T-shirt with strawberry stains on it.
No, not quite that bad. I mean, we like it to be.
I'm laughing more than you this time. I love you laugh at everything.
Oh.
Why are you so sober today?
You really want to know?
Yeah.
I haven't slept.
Come on. That's a bad deal.
There's a reason for it. Okay. I had a bad ankle. I kind of like sprained my ankle.
Okay. Mine's left.
Mine's right.
Oh, well, so we're even. Maybe.
Okay, so...
we can get across the yard together.
It's about a month ago.
Yeah.
So this one doctor who I know, he right away said, "Oh, you just take this," I forget the name of it. Did not tell me it was a steroid. Kept me up till 8 in the morning. So I was supposed to take it for 5 days. I'm never
recently?
Yeah, this is a month ago.
Okay.
So yesterday, I'm seeing this other doctor, and I had told him this. a month ago when I went to see him for the first time and said, yeah, I took something I didn't know was a steroid and it kept me up till 8 in the morning. Then he shot me yesterday with cortisone, did not tell me it was a steroid.
Mm.
And I have not, 8 in the morning, I blew right past it. I have not been to sleep Monday night. It's now Tuesday.
Do you have your melatonin gummy bears?
I don't think that's going to...
I'll deliver it
I don't think
later.
that's doing the
bring 'em
trick.
back.
But I mean, like, I'm in a bad way. But
well, I think you need a full glass of tequila.
I'm drinking it.
Oh, but I'm not, no soda, just full glass.
No,
And,
I know it. I know my limit. I can have 2.
okay. All right.
Otherwise, I
God,
can't.
that's good, that stuff.
I can't be.
Mexican magic.
Why? What is it? What is that?
Tequila and soda, actually.
Oh, yeah, that's what I drink: tequila and soda.
If you don't add lemon, it tastes just like you're drinking straight tequila.
You're such a meticulous guy. Like you know exactly what you want. Like when you critique my outfits on the show.
Yeah. Oh.
It's like always like, man, you know your shit with fashion. Like if I am not on point with every detail of my suit and tie, and pants and shirt, and the tie better not go below the belt. And
that's you now, right? If you're not on point in your opinion.
I hear from you.
Yeah, but you're not doing it for me now. You know, you look and you go,
no,
yeah.
Yeah, of course. But like,
you look smart lately. And even the shirt, I look where the white of the collar is tucked under the suit. If you can see the end of it, no good.
I know.
The size of the knot.
No, I'm telling you, all that stuff, you're so much gayer than me.
I could have designed women's clothes on the, well, that's because I think women are so much better shape than Ferraris.
Yeah.
You know, I do. I mean, I just love, and to dress women for a living would have been amazing. Design clothes and be one of those.
Edith Head.
Yeah, but I'm just a guy.
No, but wasn't she the big customer? Edith?
Yeah, but there's no real men that design women's clothes. They're all, It
always sounded like a porn name to me. Edith Head.
Yeah, isn't that funny? And she was she was like straight out of London.
Did you work with her?
I don't know if she was English, but she acted,
You ever
work
with her?
She did Gable and Lombard when I played Clark Gable.
You did play Clark Gable.
Yeah, and then Reagan.
And Reagan.
Yeah.
I can do a Clark Gable.
I never played Jimmy Stewart, though.
But you could have.
Oh, okay.
I can do a Clark Gable impression.
Okay.
Would you like me to do the scene? I've probably done it 100 times here, but I love it because I feel like there's something to this scene in Gone with the Wind that was so ahead of its time because it's an anti-war movie, a little bit, Gone with the Wind. And Clark Gable has a scene at the beginning of the movie where he's at the, I guess it's Ashley Wilkes' plantation, and they're all like, the Southerners are all hepped up on going to war, right? Mm-hmm. They can't wait to kick the Yankees' ass.
I don't know what that is, but I don't have it.
And Rhett Butler is just different, and they're like, Mr. Butler, you've been up north. What do you think? I think it's very hard to win a war with just words, gentlemen. Why, Mr. Butler, what are you saying? I'm saying there's not a cannon factory in the whole South. Well, what difference does that make to a gentleman? I'm afraid it's going to make a great deal of difference to a great many gentlemen. Mr. Butler, are you hinting that the Yankees can lick us? No, I'm not hinting. I'm saying very plainly the Yankees are better equipped than we are. They've got cannon factories and shipyards and coal mines and a fleet to bottle up our harbor and starve us to death. All the South has is slaves and cotton and arrogance.
Is this the actual dialogue?
Word for word.
Word for
I
word.
just watched it again.
Oh, man, I would have said, say it in your own words.
Exactly. Could you improve on those words?
No, I don't think so. No, the guy's right.
Kind of sounded like him, right?
Well, yeah, that's good.
You played him.
What?
You played him.
I played him, and when Sidney Furie came to me, they were looking at Steve McQueen and Ally McGraw to play Gable and Lombard at Universal. This is one of their bigger.
And who played Lombard? I forget. Judy Davis?
No.
Oh, that was Reagan. That was she played
Judy
Mrs.
Davis.
Reagan.
Yeah, on Reagan. Joe Clayburgh. Sorry.
I knew that. Joe Clayburgh. Yeah.
Yeah. How awful that it's not right there.
Oh,
but,
please.
Age does that.
What year was the movie made?
1975.
Okay. I think you can be forgiven for
okay,
a second pause.
Oh, well, thank you, Buckaroo.
That movie's 48 years old? Oh, my God.
Can you believe it? And Barbara has Funny Girl, I guess it is. 50 years old, and she's colorizing it and
really?
Adding the scenes back in because it didn't make sense, that movie in the end. It didn't make sense why they split, and she's putting it all back together for the 50th anniversary.
Wow. So that was 73?
Well,
because I know.
Count back.
What was what was
73.
Funny Girl?
Huh?
Are we talking about Funny Girl?
Yeah, we're talking about.
No, okay. What it was that's the one with Walter Matthau.
Yeah.
No, that's Hello, Dolly.
Yeah.
Because she famously said.
I'm just going to say yeah.
Because she famously said to him when they had a fight, "Have you noticed the movie's not called Hello, Walter?" Which is one of the all-time great lines.
But she didn't get along with him too well.
No, I don't think anybody did. He was Walter Matthau. I think was kind of like the Bill Murray of his day.
I was on a contract.
The audience loved him, and no one who worked with him did.
I was on several sets with him, and I thought, why is this guy here? And then a couple of years later, I got invited to the Beverly Hills Tennis Club with my agent to a lunch with Walter Matthau at the table. I never laughed so much in my life.
Really?
And I thought this guy was like one of the boring, overhyped guys in history. I never laughed so much. So,
So in
what did I learn? What do you know? What do you know?
But you're saying in real life he was very funny.
At that day he was. Maybe it was the fried chicken. Who knows?
And he wasn't curmudgeonly, or that was what made him funny?
The jokes were just off the wall. The punchlines were not expected.
Wow.
There's a lot of comedy, which is great. You can hear it over and over.
Yeah.
And you go, but this was all fresh to me. And so, but what am I?
Amazing
I was 25, 27.
But it's amazing how big a star he was.
Yeah.
With a face like 2 miles a bad road.
Yeah.
He just wasn't.
And Barbara said, my wife said he was rude to the women. Not everything was like. Oh, I heard the word from Peterson. You talking about Machiavellian, and I thought, oh well, if I get on the show, am I doing Bill's shows so that I can get ahead in life?
No, this is not going to. If you are, you're a shitty Machiavellian.
So I looked it up,
right.
and.
But okay, but woke, you have to buddy up to this word, and because it comes up too much. So it started
out. Bullshit word.
Well, it became bullshit.
Yeah.
It became an eye roll for a very good reason.
Yeah.
Because it refers to everything where they embrace nonsense. Obvious example is obviously men can have babies, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's just these people who they seem to want the social justice warriors. They always seem to want to find a new group to champion. And they do it so ass backwards. The homeless. Let's keep them on the street. No, that's the opposite of compassion. Let's get them off the street. In Portland now, you can be fined. You're fined if you just ask them to move. And homeless people on the street is not good for the people or the homeless. Mm. So it's that kind of stuff that makes you roll your eyes and goes, you people are fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Or
I totally agree.
I may have told this story, but
I remember the 5-cent Coke again.
Right.
Didn't used to be this way,
I think I told this, but I'm going to tell it again because it blows my mind. Mr. Beast, he's a YouTube star. You don't have to know who he is.
Yeah.
He makes these videos that get zillions of views, and then he uses the money to do things like and he likes to put in the title because it gets crazy viral, like helped 1,000 people overcome disability. And he did. I forget what the disability was. Mm-hmm. And then he got attacked. And like papers that we could, or websites and papers that we consider like normal and like respected, said things like, what needs curing is society's view of the disabled. And Mr. Beast thinks that disability is something that needs to be solved. It is something that needs to be solved. So this is what woke means, insane. Club Random is brought to you by the audio marketing gurus at Radioactive Media. The vacations are over, and now it's time to get back to work. Let me ask you, what are you doing to grow your business? Don't just use Google and social media when you can acquire new customers by partnering with shows like mine, elevating your brand. Wouldn't you like to generate up to 9 times more leads? You can when you combine the power of audio and video with text messaging. Club Random has been partnering with Radioactive Media with clients such as Signalwire, Heat Holders, Wine Enthusiast, Lumi Micro-Dosed Gummies, and they can customize a campaign for you. For a limited time, receive $1,000 toward your first campaign plus free text messaging by going to radioactivemedia.com or text the word RANDOM to 511-511. Discover how audio marketing can surpass your current strategies. Just go to radioactivemedia.com or text RANDOM to 511-511. Text RANDOM to 511-511 today. Terms, conditions, message, and data rates may apply. I'm heading back to Vegas to do stand-up for my last live dates of the year. I'll be there Friday, November 3rd and Saturday, November 4th. I will be at the David Copperfield Theater at the MGM Grand in Vegas, my new home.
I'm never going to swallow this pill. All this new stuff, I'm not ready for. And
you don't have to be ready for it. But I mean, it's just too prevalent in society. And I know you're news hounds. I know both of you are.
Yeah.
You know, you're sending me things often. It's like, oh, I don't know about that.
Do you actually read what I send you? Because I'll send you
of course
more stuff. I wait till it's pertinent, and then I think, oh, he may have missed this, or
yes,
we'll both laugh about this when we see each other,
right,
or whatever, you know.
No, you're a skeptical thinker.
Mm.
You know, you just don't take what they send down the pike.
That's true. But I'm also so resilient and forgiving that, you know, for the last billion years, a lot of this shit didn't exist, or it did, between tribes and cave people hitting each other over the head, or where everybody has their differences, but it comes and goes. It's like, I went to a friend's house once, and he had put in a trout pond with a waterfall. And I noticed that all the trout stayed under the waterfall waiting for the next piece of food to fall down in the water. But they didn't go chasing after it downstream. Mm-hmm. I see everybody chasing after everything downstream nowadays. You know, bring back something and to make stuff right. Well, you know what they did to me?
No, we're in a very, very bad place.
My favorite book is Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. It's an old book, but it says every morning you wake up and you lie to yourself for 1 hour that this is the greatest day and you are the most terrific person and everything is good. And your mind will lie to you the rest of the day. And man, does it work.
Really? You do that?
Psycho-Cybernetic. I read this book every year to remind myself.
No, but the first hour of the day, that's what you do? You think this is the greatest?
It's not hard for me to do that.
Really?
Yeah.
Until
I face somebody and, you know.
But your default setting is pretty happy, right?
Yeah, it is.
That's
because I had a mother that was, you know, everything was, I'd say, Mom, I got my finals. She says, honey, you won't even remember what school you went to one day.
Right.
And that's a philosophy that's terrific, you know?
Yeah.
I heard that, like Barry, I was reminded that I went to, my dad said, listen, you go to school and I'll give you lunch money and gas money and everything. Well, several months later, he handed me a bill. Oh, what? He says, yeah, this is how much you owe me so far. And I went, I will never borrow money from any person. A bank, yes, never from any person in my life again. And I'm going to bust my ass and earn all my own money.
Wow.
And
yeah, it does happen young.
we're bifurcated. I love that, you know. Every
Bifurcated.
woman bifurcated is when you marry somebody and you separate your money. So you're not into each other's money at all.
I didn't even know you could do that.
2 women just drained me
Right.
before.
And that wasn't even with money.
That's true.
I mean,
That's true.
it's the emotional drain that.
Yeah, but
yeah, no, you're
I got
strong.
through it somehow.
Yeah, and it all came out in the wash.
Yeah.
Sometimes the third time's the charm, right?
Yeah, and actually, I got married the first time when a girlfriend left me, like total surprise, and I married somebody 12 days after I met him. Just who knows what kind of psycho-cybernetics I hadn't read yet.
But even if the marriages didn't work, if you didn't do it, then you wouldn't have spawned your big movie star son.
And I've got the most delicious children, and that's all. And now grandchildren. Life is good. I've been married 25 years to my wife.
I know. Wow.
I've been so good to her, and she's been so good to me.
Is she done with that book?
She is. It's going to be out in November. Did I hear the 8th today?
Right. I mean, I can't believe it's going to sell. It's Barbara Streisand's fucking autobiography. It's going to sell. You know.
Why, she need the money? Or?
No, she didn't need the money, but I'm sure she wants to sell the book.
She does. She loves it.
And it will be number 1, of course.
Of course it will. It doesn't matter.
Anyway, I'm saying if she needs a place to come to sell the book, we're open for business at all times.
Funny.
There's no strikes here.
She said, good luck, honey. Say hi to Bill for me. And I said, you're next. Stay tuned.
I cannot wait to read it. Have you read it in advance?
And she started and was going to, kind of flush it out of her. Says it's been 10 years, and every moment of it is not only full of the truth. She can't lie. I mean, I'll say, tell him I'm not feeling well and we can't make it tonight. Right. She says, that's not true.
Right.
She won't help me out at all. She has to tell the truth.
Well.
And it's very wonderfully refreshing.
I'm very similar.
Oh, yeah.
And I think so.
Well, that's why you should be president.
Yeah, that's how you will never be president. Are you kidding? Politician is someone who has to learn how to not tell the truth. And, you can do it in an elegant way, and you can do it in an inartful way, like Trump does. But, all presidents, all politicians, Lincoln did it, Obama did it, they all have to do some shady things to get progress made.
Yeah.
Because it's what they say about Congress. It's like, the sausage factory. You don't want to see how it's made. But progress doesn't happen because you're spray painting a wall.
It happened. Cheney would have never made his fortune if he hadn't started a war and kept it going.
Yeah, that's probably true. I mean,
it's true.
We'll never, I mean, you never know what's in a guy's mind. He could have also, the Bush people, do I think that they actually thought that they were going to transform the Middle East by taking over Iraq? I do. Because they don't do their homework. They just, I feel
Samuel Bush was the great-grandfather. He was in charge of all the arms for the United States. Prescott Bush was his son, who was the largest. He ran 17 banks, and he was the largest financier of the Nazi Party in World War II.
Really?
Yeah, good. They paid good interest.
See, that's the kind of thing you always know.
And 9/11, and why did JFK Jr. die? I get into all this stuff.
Well, JFK
and I try
Jr.
And weigh it.
Well, wait a second. I know why JFK Jr. died.
Tell me there was no bomb in the back of the plane.
You think there was a bomb in the back of the plane?
Possibility, that's all. I don't know anything.
Well,
I've just read everything, and what I saw was...
Why would anyone want to kill JFK Jr.?
I saw an interview tape where JFK Jr. was on final talking to the tower, "You're cleared for landing." That tape disappeared. I heard it.
I think it's bullshit.
Okay.
I do.
How about, if we do our research, why were they sent 90 miles away to do the first searching for the plane? And it went straight down into the water.
I don't know. I mean, this sounds to me
Why did it take so long to find it all? There was a lot of smelly stuff.
You know, I think anything you look at, you can find these...
Why did Building 7 go down?
Well, I was just going to say, this reminds me of 9/11 truther stuff, which even the truthers have most of them have walked away from that.
I'm not a truther, I'm a researcher.
Okay.
How about...
But can I tell you about JFK Jr.?
300 of the best building designers all say impossible.
No, that's not true. Not 300.
Yeah, 300. 300 building engineers. Because a plane in 1947 had hit the Empire State Building, they made sure that those were able to take the impact of an aircraft.
So what, it was a demolition?
Mm-hmm. And if you look at the videos, you can see pop, pop, pop. They just went flat.
You would see that also, I think, if the building was
maybe
pancaking.
We shouldn't be in this conversation.
No, I mean, I just, look.
You and I have never talked about it.
A friend of mine was a truther at one point.
I'm not a truther. I'm a researcher.
Well, okay, well, let's use the term truther also is a word that specifically describes someone who believes exactly what you were saying you believe about the collapsing of the World Trade Center. Okay,
so the only thing I can say you're absolutely right is building number 7.
No,
you can see the video. It went straight down. It was 2 blocks away. No plane hit it.
Oh, I understand.
Okay.
Oh, I mean, I've vetted all this.
Something smells here.
I looked at all this. You can watch the video of all these events with the truther version, and yes, you're going, oh my God, that looks fishy and blah blah blah. And then you can watch another video where other esteemed engineers and the same kind of people you're talking about have the exact opposite point of view, and they would agree with, I think, what I still believe, which is that the idea that Bush planned this is ridiculous because it would involve planning. But JFK Jr.
The buildings were going broke, by the way, financially.
I mean,
how is that possible? I don't know, but
well, how is it possible that buildings go broke?
Well, that one was pretty full, I guess, but the word was that they were in financial difficulty, not only with the building owner who got insurance money, but the city was involved. They were the feds were throwing in a lot of money into that building. All those 3 buildings.
I mean, all these things could be possible. It could be an affair. I
agree.
And this is why
I'm with you, man.
Well,
you're
not with me on this.
Something smells like a rat. That's all I know.
It could. To me, it doesn't, because I watched both those videos, and the second one I found more convincing.
Okay.
But JFK, and what tilts this a little for me is that JFK Jr. No motivation to kill JFK Jr.
No, he was going to be president. He was going to be president. Yes, he was.
If he was, it was years away. He wasn't even in politics.
That's right.
Oh, you mean this is like a Moses story where they have to strangle the baby in the crib?
You and I, our friendship just dissolved.
Okay, he flew a prop plane with a broken leg on a moonless night. It's not a conspiracy. It's idiocy. He had the hubris to think that, let's get up there to where they were going, Martha's Vineyard, I guess. Okay, let's get up there tonight. John, it's a moonless night. Maybe we should just wait till tomorrow. No, I'm a good pilot. Don't worry about my broken leg. And it's not like our family has a history of tragedies.
Let me tell you something.
I think we're good.
On your from your point of view, where you're absolutely right, he had broken his leg. It had been in a cast, and he just got the cast off. How do you fly a plane when you've just got the cast off?
Badly and into the ocean.
That's right.
Which is my point.
Okay. All right.
I mean, the idea that they were, who is it that was anxious to kill JFK in the crib before he was even in politics? Was it the Trilateral Commission? Who was behind it? I'd love to know that.
I don't know. He had a political magazine that was very popular.
It was okay. It did not do that great. I remember I was in it.
All right.
George.
Well, maybe that's why it wasn't that popular.
But I mean,
oh God, I just love it when you laugh now.
Well,
see, you give me a little slack, will you?
I'm always laughing with you. Stop it! What are you so insecure about laughing?
No, I just
any laugh the good-looking guy gets is gravy. First of all,
you are so knowledgeable. You are so good at this stuff, and yet you give everybody a lot of room for their opinion.
Yes,
and you laugh at this and that.
Absolutely,
that's why you should be president.
Here's another woke thing for you, Mr. Actor Man.
Okay.
They don't have a sense of humor. Because humor might hurt someone's feelings, and feelings are the most important thing. They're more important than free speech. They're more important than anything. It's that nobody ever feel a moment of discomfort or pain.
Right.
And what they do is they operate in bad faith. I don't know if you've seen this story, but there's a country star named Jason Aldean.
Don't know him.
Okay. He put out a record called Try That in a Small Town. And I was, again, one of those things, the polarization of this country. I read the things that the righties said about it. I read the thing that the lefties said about it. To the left, this was like he's this horrible racist because he's a country guy. And he shot the video at a courthouse steps where someone was lynched 100 years earlier. So it was about lynchings. And basically, he's a redneck guy. And I'm getting this now from Coleman Hughes, who's black, brilliant writer, if you're not up on him.
No,
young, black, and brilliant. And I believed Coleman Hughes. He said, this is a smear thing that they do. Because, and again, Jason Aldean, I don't know who the fuck this is. I probably would never be interested in his music. But he didn't pick that location. They know this. This is what I mean by bad faith. It's like, yeah, I know that, but I also can get him on this. If I put it in the article that this thing was shot at and of course, it turns out other movies have been shot there. Like Hannah Montana was shot there. Is she a racist? Is she promoting lynching? And of course, it's a point of view that it's not my world being a small town person who's saying, oh, if you try to take my guns, try that in a small town. Okay, but we have to get past this thing where you are just evil if you're not like me. Half the country is not like you.
Right.
They're just not. And they're not going to change, and they're not going to self-deport, and you're not going to bully them into being you. You just have to have a level of acceptance.
But it seems to me that a lot of people have gotten real dumb real quick in the last 10 years.
Oh,
why? Before, you visit the South and you go, and it is what it is. And I love tradition. I love little towns, and I love people that speak a little different colloquialism than other people.
Barns.
Yeah, but
lighthouses.
Yeah.
Thomas Kincaid paintings.
What's happened to this? There's strip malls in every one of those little towns. There's opinions that are not fair. They're not fair. It's really, really changed, and there's more hatred available around.
Exactly. Yeah. Everything goes from 0 to I will kill you in 10 seconds.
And the minute I meet somebody, I always feel like, gee, I like you. Now show me why I don't, And they do. Yeah, they didn't used to. I always cut them a lot of slack. I moved to the country when in the middle of Marcus Welby. First, I legitimized the motorcycle. They were all Hell's Angels. And then it was, you meet a lot of people on a Honda bike. You meet a lot of people that you really like. And Dr. Kiley rode a motorcycle and legit. Then we're 3 years into that show of 6 or 7 years, and I sell everything and I move to Paso Robles, halfway to San Francisco, to cowboy country, start raising horses and cattle. And I trained horses for 13 years.
To do what?
What do you mean? To
I
sell
mean,
them, just to.
Oh, really?
I'd breed them and have the babies and break them to ride. And
yeah, that's the part that I'm a PETA board member, so when I hear break them, it's like you lose me. Like horses, I don't think animals want to be broken. I mean, I think they're.
Well, they say a horse and a dog is the only thing that'll give up their life for food. So
Really?
I don't know.
I would think
I would
that's
think good. I feel ashamed.
I would think
now.
I think every animal in the world risks its life every day for food. I think that's
I had 75 head of cattle. What are they for? You cut them up and eat them.
Yeah. Is that what happens?
So, why does anybody have cattle?
Right,
Horses,
I
at least people,
How long do you have the cattle before you kill them?
I don't. I never got that far. I finally got out of there.
You never felt attached to them? They're so cute, cows and steer, and you never wanted to just save one.
Ranching. I loved that whole thing. I should have been a Texan, and at that time, Central California had more winning cowboys than Texas or Oklahoma.
Well,
so I was up there in the middle of all
the northern part of California is Texas. I mean, that Trump wins, above San Francisco, all the way to the Oregon border. That's Trump country. I mean, that's red.
This was halfway. This was this side of San Francisco where I was.
Okay,
halfway.
But I mean, I'm telling you, there's a big chunk of San Francisco where everyone's wearing a red hat.
Oh boy. So we're going back to the dumb guys.
No, I'm just saying we should be able to. We should be able to live amongst people who we don't agree with. Whereas
I agree.
Yeah. Whereas nobody does that anymore. One of our big problems is we don't mingle.
Yeah.
Like you would never wear a Trump hat on the New York City subway. You'd just never see it because you'd worry you get beat up or something. And the same thing is, at NASCAR, you're not going to wear a Hillary, I'm with her shirt,
I drove for 5 years. I drove professionally.
Yeah, I know you're a race car driver.
Well, I quit when I knew I was going to die, so I quit.
So you're a rancher. You're the Marlboro Man. You're a race car driver. You were going to be James Bond. I know that about you. Right?
I thought I had the job, and I came home and
But you're not English.
I know he had to make that decision, Cubby Broccoli. But I came home, and Roger Moore said, "Okay, I'll do one more." So I think he was bullshitting him.
He was a sweet man, but the worst Bond, Roger Moore.
Yeah.
I mean, partly it was.
He did a bunch of them, though.
He did a bunch of them. I think 7.
Wow.
And I watched one recently. It's terrible. I mean, it's amazing. Again, same thing with comedy and what lasts over time. Same thing with action movies. It's comical how shitty the action sequences are compared. I mean, it's literally sketch level props where you're going through a cardboard door, an obvious breakaway glass, and a fight scene probably took 2 hours to film. I mean, it's just amazing what the audience accepted back then. And his quips, it's the tone of it is so different. It just sucks.
I'm trying to think of one thing that I ever did like that. I never was lucky enough to break. Oh, well, maybe in Capricorn 1, I went through candy glass, in the gas station and caught onto the airplane. Got off immediately and let the stuntman get on.
Yeah.
By the way, hanging on the wing in Capricorn 1, there was only one stuntman in the whole business that would do that. They would tie him onto there and take off and do all kinds of.
There's a sequence in that Roger Moore movie. I don't know which one it is, but they're in India.
Yeah.
And it's like a chase scene, and it's played for comic effect, knocking over fruit carts and shit. And on the way, because it's India, they do a gag that's basically a what they would say now, a racist cliche about everything possibly you could do such a cliche about in India. You know, he's going through the market and it's a guy putting a sword down his throat. So he pulls the sword out and kills the bad guy and then puts the sword back in the guy's throat. And there's like 10 of those.
Yeah. George Lazenby?
I like that one, actually.
You did?
He was okay. Lazenby was okay.
Check that out.
He did that one. It was 1969. I was 13. I saw it in a theater on the Jersey Shore on summer vacation. Diana Rigg was the girl. Completely, I totally wanted to have sexual intercourse with her. She absolutely did it for me. She was also Mrs. Peel in the Avengers, not the blockbuster Avengers.
Diana Rigg.
Your
yeah,
kid
nice.
is in, right?
Nice rig.
Yeah. she did.
Oh
yeah.
I was
Hot
reading
English
something
girl.
yesterday, by the way. I don't know if you remember when some girl went to a drive-through Starbucks and bought a hot coffee and spilled it in her lap and made clam chowder out of her.
Pussy.
And and got $2 million.
Yeah, well, if it...
And yesterday, they awarded $800,000 to a girl that got deep-fried chicken balls and burned her lips. They gave her $800,000.
I remember the McDonald's story. I didn't know it had affected her vajay.
Well, she spilled it in her lap.
Well, her lap. I didn't know if that meant leg. I mean, if it actually hurt...
Oh, I'm making that shit up.
Oh, okay. Okay, I was going to say, writer's embellishment to this long-known story about... Okay.
Sorry, I'm rewriting
Because
the
if
script
that
here.
is
We're
what
not
happened,
even...
maybe that coffee is too hot. I mean, I think it would be a shame if pussies were ruined all over America because of...
I want hot coffee.
I want hot pussy. And I will not have it being not ruined by McDonald's. But, like, you played Reagan. You killed that, by the way.
Well...
You killed that.
Nancy and I...
No. Like, plainly you're not a Republican. I can't believe... I don't really literally know what your affiliation is, but I can't believe Barbara Streisand would marry a Republican. So that's my evidence.
Yeah.
You cannot...
Pretty plain. I'm not...
okay.
I'm trying to...
But you found
figure out something that they like that I like, you know, and maybe you could throw a couple of things at me that, well, they've got a pretty good idea here or there, but
the Republicans, no, they don't have any good ideas.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been out of ideas for a very long time, and now they're actually...
Isn't it? Wow.
What?
Strange.
Oh, they were actually worse because at least they used to believe in democracy.
Yeah.
Now they don't believe in elections. So
and I want them to. I want them to come back. I want
me
them to
too.
be. I want the other side to be kind of equal with us, so we can sit around and talk and play cards and have a drink.
I mean, the truth is,
and...
both sides got worse.
Yeah.
One more scary, one more obnoxious.
Right.
And you know, when people go into the voting booth, very often what they vote on is who's the most obnoxious. They don't really follow the policy. They don't even believe the politicians will really carry out the things they say to begin with. So they very often vote on a feeling. I mean, Trump is a massive contradictions. He always speaks in front of a banner that says, promises kept. To who? The asbestos industry? Never
just
kept one.
Amazing that it works.
Doesn't matter because it
Barnum and Bailey.
Yeah,
you know.
Yes, it appeals on a level that's below the intellectual level. It's a feeling, and by the way, the more they indict him, the more it's only good for him. Indicting Trump is like dying in show business. It's the best career move you could make. I mean, there's a number of people. I mean, James Dean, what did he make? 3 movies? If he hadn't died, would we be still talking about him like he was Mr. Cool? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he was.
Oh, we are still talking about him, and the greatest. If he
James Dean was the greatest?
He was really good. He was really incredible. But he did Giant as the old guy, you remember?
Rock hated him. That's in the documentary. Hated him.
But some of his stuff in the, you know, when the oil spouted out and him in the back of the, thing,
Oh, that's like him.
But I was a fan, so I'm still a fan. I was a fan of Brando's. Still a fan.
But Brando had a whole career, and he didn't die when he was young. Okay.
No, but he started doing shitty stuff.
Well,
for money.
of course.
Yeah.
And he would write the lines on the actors' heads.
Barbara and I are talking, we talk about, at what point you just sort of back out before you're forced to take the embarrassing jobs and stuff like that. That's why I want to direct now. I don't want to be in front of a machine that records you. Oh, I didn't mean that.
No, I mean, look, there are limited roles for someone who's 83.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a whole genre I would call the geezer film because there are actors who become legendary and people still want to see them. And if you put them in a comedy, I mean, De Niro, I don't know how many he's made in the last 5 or 10 years. Dirty Grandpa, and did you see?
And I had something financed when the pandemic started. I had something financed where I play an old guy who's been divorced, and the wife is in one of these fabulous aged villages, where they go to a bar every night, and she's screwing all the old guys, and he's living with all his boxes and crap. When the daughter shows up with a baby and says, "Dad, you got to take care of this baby." Yeah, it was the cutest script, but it went away as soon as pandemic started. I had my money. I was starting to do my pre-production, and anyway,
I can take.
But that I would do that kind of thing where it's really funny and stupid.
And that has to be, and they always are.
Yeah,
I mean, Dirty Grandpa is funny.
Yeah,
it's
great. He's done 10 of them, I think.
A whole bunch of them. He started with the Fockers, and he had a whole second wind. As a comedy actor, and
does them for nothing, and makes and they play and bring in money. So he's doing okay
I'm
now.
sure they pay him quite well.
Yeah, that's what I mean. In the end, I think. There's a streaming value of all this stuff.
All you got to do is put something inappropriately dirty and young in the mouth of an old person. And
that's right.
It's like an animal trick. I mean, the audience just eats it up.
That's me for real. So, actually, my brother and I have like a phone call between us or emails between us are so awful that we could never share it with anybody, Well, maybe you in private or something, but it's like we're just so.
But that's the thing,
and that's wrong today. Totally wrong.
It's not. It's wrong that they stop it. Is what's wrong.
But if it makes you laugh,
exactly. And we used to be okay with that. I thought of that when the.
You laugh because you know it's wrong.
Well, exactly. It's kind of like laughing in church.
Yeah.
And also because it doesn't actually affect anybody's life. Like, again, this is what I hate about these posers. When the submarine, the Titanic submarine.
Yeah. Oh, imploded. Whoa. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank God I was here.
Like, if this had been 10, 15 years ago, there would have been a million great sick jokes, almost all of them by Gilbert Gottfried. Out the next day. And it would not have affected anybody. The family wouldn't be seeing these jokes. We're not throwing it in front of them. And the people on the ship, of course, are not going to see them because they're fucking worm food. I mean, fish food. And it would just be, why not? But now you couldn't do it. If you put that on Twitter, you'd be canceled immediately. Oh my gosh, have some respect. You don't have respect. You just want to catch people at something.
Right.
That's what's so obnoxious. The desire to just catch people at some shit.
An implosion. I was thinking of, like the black hole in space. An implosion, when it happens, it's pop.
Oh, you don't.
That's it. That everybody inside is now just little pieces.
And you don't even know it's coming, right?
No, you wouldn't.
So you don't suffer.
Although I heard that they heard some creaking. I don't know how I heard that or how they would know.
If you were on that thing and you heard creaking, most of them had never been in there before.
It's carbon fiber.
What you'd say, or you'd be saying to yourself is, huh.
Yeah.
Creaking sound. I guess that's normal.
Yeah. And it's too late to finish.
It's like when you see the lights flicker in the elevator. Is that supposed to happen?
Now,
Is that always happen?
The CEO was in there with them.
Oh, sure. I guess he knew the creaking.
He had said when they lost contact on previous excursions. They lost radio contact. He would laugh about it and say, "Oh, we'll get it back. There's no problem. I got to get a new radio in this thing or something."
Right.
So there were a lot, and of course they didn't have
But
federal engineering approval on this or general engineering approval.
How does it seem like a good idea? I'm just saying, like, first of all, we have the movie Titanic, where we went down and you can see it. You can see everything you're going to see by actually going.
Well, and the director had gone down many times in a good unit.
And for the lucky us, filmed it. So you don't have to go there.
Yeah, but he went back a whole bunch of times just because he liked it. You knew that.
That's his thing.
Yeah.
That's his thing.
It's like,
and obviously smart enough to survive it.
Yeah.
But like, why just as a tourist, like, okay, I'm just gonna take my life, which is one of the guys was a billionaire, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna take me and my kid, father-son fun day, and we're gonna just put the whole ball of wax on the line here.
Yeah.
And trust this guy, and they have to be sealed into
pay this guy
and pay him a lot, and you have to be sealed into that.
Oh.
It's not like you just close the hatch. They put you in and then you're sealed in. Just that I wouldn't do. I wouldn't even have to get in the water.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah. Now, would you go flying with me in a plane that I built?
Fuck no.
Well, when the pandemic started and I got sick November of 2019 before anybody ever heard of COVID. I know this is a favorite subject of yours, but I got really sick.
I may have been too. I missed your Thanksgiving that year. I was so disappointed. I was sick. I don't know. It could have been COVID too. That's when people were starting to get it.
Because it was odd. It wasn't the lungs or anything. It was, it's just everything, man. Ears ringing and spine felt funny and all. Just strapped. So I've had it twice now. I got it on an airplane going to New York to do the talk shows. I did the first talk show, and they test you before you go into the talk show, and they say, "Okay, go on, Jim," and you do the talk. Then you go the next day to Good Morning America.
Right.
They test you, and they go, "Get out."
Right.
And I'm locked in a hotel for 10 days there, And that wasn't so bad, that one, but I still feel like I have long COVID. If I'm strange.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know, my balance, my ears ring a little bit. I just don't feel back together again. And I also agree with you that possibly even those vaccines didn't help at all. That's possible.
Well, we know. Look, we know
why I feel this.
No, there's lots of stuff that should be debated about it that they don't allow it.
One thing I like, not to interrupt you, but we've been doing it all night, that two doctors have said to me, "You're asking me as if I know."
Right.
Which I love that kind of doctor who says, "I don't know, Jim. None of us know."
Well, I mean, what we do know is that they got wrong the idea that the vaccine could prevent transmission and got wrong the idea that it could prevent you from getting it.
Yeah.
I got the vaccine and then I got it 3 weeks later. I mean, and it could very well be the case that the vaccine, as it is supposed to do something to you, lowered my immune system. It also could be the case that then when I quote unquote got it, it was very, very mild. Those could all be true.
Have you heard of such thing as, this is what my daughter tells me, they get very ethereal up in Ojai, a lot of pot smokers up there. But my daughter tells me, "Oh, well, I had a homeopathic vaccine," which means just natural vitamin, who knows, whatever. But she got it very, very lightly, and I got it hit like a train wreck, So, and my wife has never gotten anything, and I'm in the same room with her,
It's a real thing. I mean, it was a new pathogen.
Yeah.
And we should be able to discuss all manners of it without having shit labeled misinformation, which became like a byword for just, well, I don't agree. Well, that's not misinformation. And a lot of the misinformation was yours, officials.
Yeah.
So that's all. I mean, the vaccine, in my view, saved millions of lives because it was necessary, especially for people who were not in good shape to begin with. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but what is weird is I've run into 3 people just incidentally that said, "Oh my God, I had it in November of 2019 too. I had something that
Something,
Now
yeah.
I've always been a healthy person.
Well,
This has been 3 years of weird thing, including my sinus
Well,
infection and all this stuff
but
and
I mean, everything in the body works holistically, and also, look,
age. Of
when we're
course.
when you're getting on in years, you
Mhm.
just long COVID. They have to give everything like a new name, like it's a new thing. It's just that you have this pathogen that your body is less able to fight off.
I don't want to accept it.
I don't blame you. Than it was when you
And
were
I
20.
think that helps.
Yeah.
If I wanted to accept it, I might have been a hell of a lot sicker than I am, you know? I'm not sick, I mean, but I mean, I think being positive about things works for your body, right?
It's funny in the Rock Hudson documentary. It's interesting the parallels with AIDS. I've
Yeah.
talked about this before,
Mm-hmm.
and when people say, "Why are you skeptical about stuff with COVID?" Because I've lived through a pandemic and a panic before, a virus, AIDS,
Yeah.
and I saw how they got a lot of stuff wrong,
Mm-hmm.
and boy, they went into detail. I remember this vaguely, but the documentary does a great job in showing it. He kissed Linda Evans. He was on Dynasty, and he kissed her.
Mm-hmm.
And there were lots of scuttlebutt talk at the time.
Who is this?
What's wrong with Rock Hudson?
Rock Hudson.
Because he didn't look good. But this is 1984,
Right.
85.
Yeah,
And
I
AIDS
remember
was
that.
new,
Yeah.
right? And then when it came out that he did have AIDS, the people on this Dynasty set wouldn't go near Linda Evans.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's how that was the level of the panic. He was in France and had to come home when he was deathly sick, and they wouldn't let him on an airplane. They had to charter a plane from France. I mean,
Wow.
yeah, people do not act rationally to things like viruses. That's what I would like people to remember about COVID and
Yeah.
and when the next one.
And now with AIDS, there's people that are completely over it with no signs of, T-cell minimization and stuff. So
All I know is you look
it
great.
Yeah.
That's just who you are.
I like the
You
Richard
are
Dreyfuss thing. I couldn't believe what was going on. I thought he's so casual, so much more casual than I remembered.
I think there may have been a little pharmaceuticals involved. Yeah, people have bad backs. I mean, this foot thing. I mean, like.
So we're gonna have an intermission. I'll be back next week. We'll do another 90.
I'm going to bed.
And.
What was that movie? Big something in Little Halsey?
Yeah,
something in Little.
I think
Michael J. Pollard and.
Yeah, I think that was Sidney Fury directing again.
Random.